What is up, Mouse fam? Welcome back to episode 9 of Podcasting the Mouse. As usual, we have a very special guest with us. We also have somewhat of a miracle. We somehow got our co-host King Dakar back on. I think he's been replaced by about 4 different co-hosts at this point. So you guys in the comments, make sure vote for your favorite co-host, King Dakar, Andrea, Jay Aesthetic Puppet. Who's your favorite co-host? But anyways, we're happy to have him back. So King Dakar, Mr. Co-host, why don't you go ahead and get us started? Let everyone know where they can find you, why you've been MIA for so long, and just all that good stuff.
Of course. All right, so what's up, everybody? If you do not know, my name is King Dakar, and I am so glad to be back. I've just been very busy, and I feel like life is happening. So sometimes recording gets a little tough. But anywho, I am glad to be back, and where you can find me is King Dakar 92 on Instagram, and on Twitter you can find me on King Dakar _ I messed that up. King Dakar 92 on Twitter. King Dakar freak. Listen, just type in King Dakar.
He's gone.
It's right there, and that's it. That's all I got.
One of these days we're gonna get this man to get all of his platforms the same name. But I want to do a quick shout out too. Make sure you guys go and subscribe to him on YouTube. Just posted part 1 and part 2 of his latest Disney explorations, and I'm pretty sure part 3 is coming up within the week. So make sure you guys subscribe to him over there and check that good stuff out. And of course, follow him on Twitter. Down below, we have Mr. Marcus G. You can find him on Twitter at MarcusGBXMT, something like that, bro. It's a bunch of letters.
It's just my name without the vowels,
Okay. There we go. Marcus, just go ahead and introduce yourself real quick, and obviously where they can find you.
Yeah, my name is Marcus. You can find me. The only social media I have is Twitter. It's at MRCSGBTS. That was quick math. And I'm excited to be here. You guys are awesome. And for the record, I think Karik, you came back just for me. That's at least my headcanon. That's my fan theory.
Might not.
Yeah, I'm excited to be here.
So before we even start, these two are my favorite people I think I've met in the past 10 years. So I'm very excited to be doing this. You guys are my bros. Let's get into it. I've been anticipating this since we started doing this, because he was like, yo, who should we get on the show? I was like, Marcus. That's my first thought, but he didn't meet Marcus yet. So I'm like, I don't know if he got the vibe yet. But now that he met him, we're doing this. We're here. Let's get started.
We got the vibe.
You make it sound like I have to meet someone first and vibe with them on the podcast. Although, to be fair, we have every single person I've had on the podcast except for one I've met in real life. Parkless Chris, who I had on last week, who I haven't met yet. But everyone else on the podcast, we've hung out with multiple times. So maybe you're onto something, bro. Maybe you got to have the vibe there to be on the pod. No, I'm just kidding, buddy. But anyways, all right, let's get started with this, guys. Thanks for introducing yourself. First off, as usual, topic number 1. This is our Disney news topic. Honestly, maybe it's just because I've been out of it, but it doesn't feel like there's been that much crazy news. And maybe we're just used to, post-COVID where there's crazy news every day. But it feels like there's not been that much crazy stuff. The only, big thing this week is Magicband Plus released actually as of the recording of today. So when you guys see this, probably just a couple days ago. I guess we can just give our quick thoughts. Obviously, none of us 3 have bought one yet. All we know is what we've seen on Twitter. So Marcus, why don't you get us started? What are your quick thoughts on Magicband Plus? Just what you've seen on the reaction on Twitter and all that stuff.
Yeah, for sure. To be honest, I don't even know what it is. What the difference is? Is it just a magic band that lights up?
The general
harmonious.
Yeah, basically. So the general purpose is, from what I'm understanding, and again, I've not been fully in the loop, so we might be missing something, but the 2 main differences is, one, it interacts with stuff around the park, so the gold statues, the parks, the play apps and stuff like that. And then 2, it just lights up. So, when you enter the park, it'll give you a little greeting and stuff like that. From what I know, that's only the 2 big main differences. You guys can let us down in the comments if there's anything else, but and you have to charge it, obviously, whereas once it dies, once the battery's dead, it just defaults to being a basic Magic Band and everything the basic Magic Band gives you, but then you charge it for the other things. So to be honest, I don't fully understand why it had to come. To give my quick thoughts, I don't understand the criticism it's getting on Twitter because of the price point. They're starting at $35. That's not, granted, Magic Bands used to be free. So in that regard, it sucks. But like compared to the regular Magic Band price, that's not that expensive. So I don't really understand why people are freaking out. But at the same time, I don't fully get like why this, like what it's bringing to the table.
But it's also a 35 to 45 limit, depending on the range between depending on which one you choose. Like obviously the lesser versions are $35, the plain versions, and then if you want characters like a 50th band, that one's like $44.99. Because I just looked it up today because I was thinking about getting one for my trip in 2 weeks. So I'm like, do I want to get it just to review it? And then it's just like, at the same time, do I want to spend that money? But since I'm staying at the resort, you do get a discount. So instead of 35,
so is that discount good for Magic Band pluses as well as the regular Magic Band?
It basically brings the price down to what a regular Magic Band is, so it's $25.
Okay, and then the regular Magic Band I think comes down to like 20 with the discount. So yeah, that's not bad at all. But I guess I'm kind of on both sides here. I don't understand the criticism they're getting because the price point's not that bad. But at the same time, I don't fully understand like what they're bringing to the table. Obviously, this is probably just setting us up for the future. And maybe they're coming out because it'll be easier to transition them over to Disneyland. But it doesn't seem like there's a whole lot new there. Like I'm going to buy one to check it out, but I feel like it's not a whole lot different than the regular Magic Bands.
I feel like right now
it's more
it's like mainly about the novelty, and it's about like, I think part of the selling point now is that it's something different, right? Because like Disneyland, it's like you never had that. So this is something new and exciting that they're able to implement. And then once they lay this groundwork, I feel like they're going to be able to do a lot more with it, because it is like saying, okay, something on my person besides my phone can interact with the surroundings, right? And that is something that I think is going to be like really, really integral for like the future of the parks and these interactive experiences and these immersive experiences, because like if you have something on you that you're not looking at a screen to be like fully immersed in the experience and like fully experience everything around you, then I think that that's like a big step forward. But I think right now it's just kind of primitive.
I'm glad you said that, Marcus, because that does get me excited. And how you said at the start, like this lays the groundwork or the framework, and that gets me pumped because I think Disney's realizing that the future of theme parks is not staring at your phone all day. The future of theme parks is more interactivity and more like Universal introduced this with the Tapu Tapus at Volcano Bay. And I love that. Like, I hope Disney goes that route. I guess my only question would be, because that does make me excited, what's the big difference? Because didn't Magic Bands already do that? Like, couldn't you tap things like the Pirate's Adventure? Like, you could tap your Magic Band and it would like, do stuff. So what's the big difference here, really?
So I feel as though it's not even just the tapping and being interactive. It's more of the immersion. So you're feeling like you're a part of, like, I saw that it glows differently a part of Enchantment or Harmonious, or when you're there. So it's all about, like I said, the immersion. You want to feel like you're a part of the show. You want to feel like you're a part of Disney, and I feel like that's where they've been leaning towards a little more, is just inclusion of everybody into their parks, an actual theme park, not just a amusement park. It's a theme park, and you want to feel like you're a part of something special. You are the magic. As corny as that may sound, it's true. Like, you want to feel like you're special. You know what I mean? And so,
no, that's cool. I like that.
That thing light up. It's cool. Like, I don't know if you've been to the Taylor Swift concert where she gave us those bands.
Yeah, I still have it. Yeah,
it synced with the show, and that was like looking around the arena. I was like, that's so cool. So basically, this is
100%.
That. So
I agree, but my biggest counter to that, and I was going to bring this up before you brought up the Taylor example, and that even drives it home more, is the Taylor example is so cool. For those who don't know, during Taylor Swift's Reputation tour, everyone upon entrance, if you got a ticket, got a free wristband, and it would light up with the show, and not just like one light, but like, it would be synchronized. And I agree with Karik that like that is a great implementation with Harmonious and Enchantment and all these shows. But my biggest problem with that is the Taylor wristbands were included with the ticket. Magic Bands are not. And granted, because the price point's not that bad, I'm more okay with it. But even $45 on the high end, like, that's a buy-in still. Like, a lot of families are not gonna be able to do that. So are they gonna feel left out or feel like, cheated not cheated, but like, are they going to feel left out because they didn't get to buy that?
My man, let's be honest. We're paying for lights. We're paying for the extra lights on the band. Point blank. That's it.
I mean, sure, but when do the upcharges stop? And I hate to be that guy, but like with Genie Plus and Lightning Lane and now like Magic Bands, and
Bro.
I get it. I get why Magic Bands aren't free anymore, but it just feels like more upcharge. And I'm not even complaining. Like, I'm okay with it. I guess I'm just playing devil's advocate right now. You know, I kind of just see both sides, but I am excited for the future. And I will say, as long as they keep the price point reasonable, like Karik said with the hotel, you know, bringing it down to $25, like that's super reasonable. And so if Marcus is right that this is just laying the groundwork for the future, which I think it is, and I will say that it does excite me that maybe this can be the same groundwork for Disneyland's and they can build on it with that. So it excites me. I just hope that they keep the price down. I hope this isn't like a, you know, introductory price and in a couple years we're talking about how they're $60-$70. You know, maybe I should knock on wood and not give Chapek any ideas, but anyways, that's longer than I wanted to expend. Thank you guys for your thoughts, and you know that does make me more excited for it. But what I really want to talk about this subject is we are only about 5 weeks away, actually less than that. We're only 4 and change weeks away from D23, our first one in basically 3 years. So I just want to hear you guys' thoughts. What are you hopeful for, and what are you expecting D23 to announce? And let's focus on Disney World alone right now, because next podcast will focus on Disneyland. So Marcus, get us started. What are you hopeful for, and what are you expecting to get announced for WDW at D23 this year?
Yeah, I am hopeful that Spaceship Earth, that whole renovation gets announced, or announced that it's returning. That they're at least going to make some sort of progress on that, because I don't know if y'all been on it recently. She's a little creaky. We'll say that.
Me and Karik wrote that together last month. A little nap on it. What, Marcus? What's that called? Like not Beacons of Light. What was they calling it? Beacon of Magic? I can't remember.
I don't remember exactly what. Yeah. There was some colon whatever name.
Yeah.
But so I'm hopeful that they will announce something like that, or announce some sort of refurb. I'm expecting them to announce more about Splash Mountain and that retheme. I'm really excited. I'm from Louisiana, and so like that's my culture. That's my neck of the woods. Tiana is like top 3 Disney princess. She's the GOAT. And so I'm really excited for that. And all the people that are like the Splash Mountain purists, you know, there's room for you to exist. You can have your opinion, but like I got my headphones in whenever you tell me, you know.
I'm glad you said that, Marcus, because I want them to find my video. I posted a video like 6 months ago, maybe even longer, a year ago, about why I thought it was a good idea to retheme Splash Mountain. And it's like my 3rd like most viewed video, only because it got hate watched. I have a bunch of Splash Mountain fans. So if your comment brings in the hate watches, man, I'm all for it.
Let's go.
Just hit that dislike button down below Splash Mountain stands and get that you know, that
we need the interactivity, you know?
Yeah, interactivity on my video. Thank you. Karik, what are your thoughts?
All right. I am praying, like on my knees at night, praying that they announce another attraction at Animal Kingdom, because it desperately needs one. And I'm not saying, and I know people are going to be like, oh, but Pandora just can't. Give me a second. All right. Pandora just opened, and I get that. But it's sorely lacking in rides. And that's what Epcot got. Epcot got the upgrade, and that's great. And honestly, I freaking love Epcot now. I really do, because it was missing something, and those 2 rides really cemented Epcot as a pretty good park for me. So, and I always say that Animal Kingdom is my favorite park. I love it for its ambiance alone, but it is missing more thrill rides, because you only have Everest, Flight of Passage, Dinosaur, and that's kind of about it. And I need more. Even if I heard they open up a new land, they're thinking about opening up. What is it? Even if it's Zootopia, I don't care. I know people are like, no, I don't want that. I just want something new. I know you guys. I know. I just need something new in that park. I need a new ride. Give me 2 new rides. That's what I want to hear from D23. I want 2 new rides coming to Walt Disney Animal Kingdom. Let's get it.
Love it.
I don't even care if they're thrill rides. They can just be, you know, like, I don't even care if they're thrill rides. They can be dark rides, just something to pull crowds.
Dark ride would be great.
Because, I mean, Animal Kingdom is already, like, gigantic, right? So crowds aren't as big of an issue there. and the fact that it's kind of a half-day park is also like isn't like makes it crowds not as big of an issue. But if you have more things to do, right, and Animal Kingdom goes from a half-day park to, you know, something full day, right, or announce another nighttime show or something like that, give Animal Kingdom some love, you know.
Yes. Well, I gotta say, first of all, Marcus, I was gonna push back against it being a half-day park, but I do agree with you that some tourists view it as that, like tourists that are only there for, you know, rides. I don't think it's near a half-day park. I think it's more like a 2 to 3 day park if you're trying to do everything. But in regards of rides, I'm with you. Like a couple more rides would really help flesh it out for tourists who like are only there for rides. And I do think, and I don't know if Disney agrees with this or not. I hope they do. But Disney has seen on the West Coast how important nighttime shows are. When the parks reopened from COVID and there was no nighttime shows, I mean, it was clear they didn't come out and say this, but we saw the evidence that people were not staying long. The second they introduced fireworks, people started staying all day long. And so in terms of keeping crowds in, not that I love crowds, but just for the sake of the Walt Disney Company, you know, they want crowds. A nighttime show flushes out that park, because if it's 5 p.m. and you're like, crap, man, I'm done at the rides, like it's time to go. But you know, in 2 hours or 3 hours, there's a nighttime show coming. Like that'll draw you out, and then maybe you'll now go sit down and eat or something like that. So in that regard, I agree with you. I hope Disney realizes how important that is. What I was going to say to Karik is, at least from my understanding, I think you're going to be pleasantly surprised. I think you're going to be happy, because the rumors that I've been hearing is that, well, first of all, we know for a fact, because Disney said this before, that they, at least at Disney World, they cycle through the 4 parks in terms of like TLC and in terms of new rides. Well, with Magic Kingdom, they're up next with Tron. Epcot, you know, is going through their whole revival that's hopefully going to be mostly done in a couple years. And obviously Hollywood Studios, in my opinion, still needs more, but they just finished Mickey and Minnie's. They just finished Galaxy's Edge. They just finished Toy Story Land. So Animal Kingdom in that regard is next up on the docket. And the rumors that I've been hearing is that they are going to be announcing, and granted, this might not be true, but from what I've been hearing, and maybe it's some of my expectations, is they're potentially going to be rehashing the idea they had for a family coaster in Dino-Rama. And I don't know the full specifics of it, but it was supposed to be there when they launched, and there was no budget for it. So Eisner said, you know, there's no budget for it. We got to go smaller. So they built Chester and Hester's. But it's supposed to be like a Boneyard type coaster, kind of similar theming to the Boneyard they have there, but more in the style of like a smaller Big Thunder in that regard. So if they announce that, and there's rumors that it might even be a wooden coaster, which I don't know if Disney wants to dabble into the wooden coasters. They never have before in the States. We'll see. But I would love that idea, because A, family rides, we need more family rides. B, a little bit of thrill. C, it gives you more to do in Dino Land and potentially more money for that area. So if that comes to fruition, that would check a bunch of boxes. And granted, obviously, we've all heard that there might be an expansion to Pandora. I personally think they're probably going to wait to see how what's the movie, The Way of Water? Yeah, to see how that does. And maybe even the third one, because the third one's going to come out in the next couple of years too. So I think expansion Pandora is definitely on the books, but I think that might be 2 or 3 years down the road. Maybe we'll get an announcement at D23 that's coming in like 25 or whatever. Fingers crossed for that for sure.
100%. What about you? What are you expecting?
Yeah, I mean, that's what I'm expecting for Animal Kingdom. I definitely think that they're going to milk, for lack of a better term, the Splash Mountain, like Marcus said. I definitely think, because that's been something that a lot of people are talking about, they're going to use that to their advantage. So I'm assuming we'll get a bunch of announcements there. I mean, maybe we'll get an opening date for Tron. I would guess we'll get an opening date for Tron.
Oh, true.
we can hope.
Yeah, a lot of my excitement's dwindling. I mean, I'll be pumped when the ride opens, but just in terms of like an opening date, I'm not super pumped anymore because it's already been so long. But yeah, that's my guess. You guys think we'll get anything for Hollywood Studios or Epcot, or you think, what are we thinking on that front?
Marcus?
I think we'll get dates for some of the things at Epcot, like the Journey of Water, some of the other smaller things that they're trying to open. That they're.
You think we'll get a Play Pavilion announcement?
No.
No.
I don't think so.
I mean, for a while?
I think it's been put on the back burner. They might. I really don't think that they will. I think that they'll announce an opening date for a Journey of Water, and that's. Yeah. I mean, I don't really know what else is going to be in that central hub that they're trying to do.
I don't know what else they're
with how much it's scaled down. Maybe. I mean, we might get an announcement on the Walt statue. It's already been announced, so I don't know how much that would do, in terms of excitement. But the Dreamers Point statue. To your point earlier, Marcus, maybe the Spaceship Earth, and then maybe Play Pavilion announcement. We'll see. But yeah, and then Magic Kingdom has Tron, and Animal Kingdom either Pandora or Dino Land. What's Hollywood Studios going to get? I would assume if they have 3 out of 4 covered, they're going to want something for Hollywood Studios. I don't really know what they can do right now. Like, I can only see big, huge projects in the future for Hollywood Studios. That being the Courtyard, the animation Courtyard with Launch Bay, and maybe Rock and Roller Coaster. But I haven't heard any rumors about that, so I don't know if they would announce that this soon. I guess we'll see.
Well, that's the best thing about D23 is that we don't know what the hell they're planning. Like, everything is speculation, and that's great. Right. And sometimes I like to go in not knowing what's next, because we may think one thing and they'll turn around and be like, nope, we're giving you this big old something brand new. And I'm like, wow, I don't expect that. So I'm like, I'm very excited because you know what? As much love as these parks are getting, as much money as they're making, as much money as they raise, we deserve more, I feel. And I think they should give it to us, especially after the 2 years that we've had.
Agreed.
I agree.
At least the expansion in Toy Story Land, I'm hoping for also, because
yeah, you're right. We'll probably get an announcement for Woody's the barbecue. That's a great point, Creek. Yeah, that might be their Hollywood Studios go-to. Yeah, no, I agree with you, Creek. The fact that it's been 3 years since D23, the fact that Chapek and Tomorrow need like fan support more than ever. They need like a win from the fan base more than ever, and they know it. Everybody knows it. And the fact that Universal's opening Epic Universe in 2.5 years basically, and Disney doesn't have an answer for that. Those 3 things combined make me pretty confident that they're going to blow our socks off. With that being said, I do want to like lower my expectations, like you said, Creek, because I don't want to like. I'd rather be pleasantly surprised and be like, oh, no coaster at Dino Land, like this sucks. Like I'd rather be surprised. Exactly. So in that regard, I'm with you, but I do think that like we're gonna get a crap ton. Like I think we're gonna get a lot this year, and so I'm excited, but we can keep our expectations down a little bit, I guess. To your point,
a part of me is still thinking that we might get something Encanto related. I don't know how that's gonna be tied in to. I don't know what part, but I feel like Chapek, he's not letting his cash grab die down anytime soon. Because I mean, you do see not a decline, but you do see Encanto kind of like simmering. You know, the hype simmering.
Yeah.
And you're gonna want to bring that right back up, even with the thought of venturing off from Disney World, like maybe a part 2, or even though it's early, that's very early, but you never know. You know what I mean? So I feel like there's gonna be a lot of Encanto news coming. Hopefully,
I think that's more of the West Coast. Probably that they'll announce something Encanto themed coming to the West Coast, because I know the rumors about Tarzan's Treehouse being rethemed and stuff like that.
Agreed.
I think that would be
Chapek keeps his cards to his chest. Like he doesn't reveal, a lot of it, like his plans, especially like for the parks and creatively. Like he's more of a numbers guy. But even he himself has publicly stated on one of the investor calls that they like Encanto is going to be what did he say? Not a series, but he said it's going to be like a world. I can't think of the term. A franchise. Thank you. Like he even himself said it's going to be a franchise. So I agree with you, both of you. Like they have huge plans for Encanto. There's so many options for like spin-offs, and it'll definitely tie into the park. So you're right. I'm assuming we'll get something Encanto related for sure. That's a good point. All right. That's a lot of D23 talk, and we're already pretty far into the podcast. So we're going to quickly hop to topic number 2. And as you viewers know, our topic number 2 is the good, the bad, and the great. Last week, we had a great combo on Universal. Today, we are going to good, bad, and great of Marcus's favorite land in all 3 of ours favorite park, because we all have taste, Animal Kingdom. And we're going to be talking about Africa today. So we're going to be talking about our good of Africa, our bad of Africa, and our great. This one's a little tough because Africa isn't super like specific in terms of it, how it's laid out. Like I don't know what I'm looking for, but there's a lot, it's kind of
ambiguous, right?
Yeah, ambiguous. That's a great word.
Yeah, the lines are kind of blurred between all the parks, and I think that's why we all think that Animal Kingdom is the best park, because like it has a cohesive theme, right?
It really does.
You can't really tell whenever it's not jarring to go from one land to the next.
Yep.
Right.
It's not like walking from Toy Story Land into Galaxy's Edge.
I was
walking past the Tomorrowland Speedway into Fantasyland and Magic Kingdom.
Yeah, bro.
It's the worst transitions on planet Earth. You're right, Marcus. It's super ambiguous. That's the word I was looking for. That's fantastic. So, Marcus, why don't you get us started? We'll all share our goods first, then our bads, and our greats. So you get us started. What is your good of Africa?
Yeah, I was kind of teetering between putting this in good and great and flip-flopping them around. But I think that this is my good. So the good for me is the safari, is Kilimanjaro safaris and all of the animal viewing locations. That is kind of the core of what Animal Kingdom is, right? People say, and Disney has said, like, it's not a zoo, right? They don't treat their animals like it's a zoo. They are wild animals. There's no training that's involved besides like basic food and medical procedure training and stuff like that. And so I think that the safari and the animal viewing locations are just like, they provide so much to the atmosphere of the park. They provide so much to the theme. And not only to that, they like provide an opportunity for Disney to do something great in the community and in the world. Like that is my dream, is to like work in that and be in that and be backstage and be doing those things. So yeah, for me, that is the good. It didn't quite make great because the thing that is great is just truly incredible and spectacular. And I think you guys will probably agree. So that's my good.
A lot of the goods in this land are going to be just greats, but one tier down because there's so much great. But no, 2 points here, Marcus. Number one, really quick, I'm glad you brought up the conservation aspect of it, because Disney, rightfully so, gets a lot of public backlash, but they don't get near enough praise for what they do, not only for their community, but for just the world. And yeah, maybe they do a lot of it, for tax breaks and stuff like that. But the point is, they're doing a huge amount of work for conservation and animals, and that's very clear in Africa. So great point. And number two, I 100% agree with you on safaris. I didn't put it in my list, so I'm glad you did. Karik and I, about a couple of months ago, were on Orange Grove 55's channel, so you guys can subscribe to him there. And he had a topic: what's our most underrated ride in any Disney park, like West Coast, Disney World, and Kilimanjaro Safari is my answer, because I feel like the community, the fandom, doesn't respect that ride enough. So I'm glad you brought it up. Definitely. Too much rambling for me. Karik, what is your good?
Well, first of all, I love how freaking passionate Marcus is. You can tell by he's so passionate about this.
Oh yeah.
I love that, because Animal Kingdom really is a good part. Like, honestly, if you're watching this, you've not been to Animal Kingdom, you truly need to go and experience for yourself, because words don't do it justice at all. At all. And don't go looking for thrill. Go to for the immersion of feeling like you're actually there. Anyways, so my good is actually going to be the entertainment. And I love that they are incorporating what you would imagine the entertainment in Africa to feel like. And the street play, they're so good. And I'm so glad that Disney actually brought them back, because there was a time that they were gone, obviously, and even pre-COVID, they took them away. And I was like, everybody was kind of like, what is going on? Like, why are they're the heart of, literally, because they're right in the middle of Africa. But when they start playing, you feel immersed and you feel like you're there. And I love it because they're showing their culture, and they're so proud of their culture when they're dancing and they're doing their show and they're playing their music on their instruments. And I think that is so special, because, I mean, let's be honest, in America, there's so much segregation and predominantly a whole bunch of white people, let's be honest, go to Walt Disney World. So it's like, I'm glad that they get to see that, and they actually stick around to watch. So it's you're just getting a little bit of culture within your trips, and your I hope everybody, not even whites, blacks, everybody, this music and their entertainment is real. Like, this is amazing. It is amazing, and it's just so cool. And when they bring people in the middle that start dancing, like, they'll just choose random people and they go along with it. I think that is so cool. Me and my friends did that, and they chose us, and I think it was like such an awesome experience. And yeah, that's it.
Sure. Yeah, no, the Tam Tam drummers are absolutely incredible. Jess and I, my wife and I, had not been until our first time in Disney World was COVID, was November 2020 on our honeymoon, and there was no Tam Tam drummers at all. And it's still our favorite park, one of our favorite lands. And then we went back, and the Tam Tam drummers are back. We were just like mind blown. Like, these guys are incredible. So that's a great one, Karik. My good is the drinks, Dawa Bar, Tamu Tamu refreshments, the sweet shop. I think it's called I think it's Zuri's Sweet Shop. They have like a slushy stand. incredible. Like, and Kareek, I know you're the freaking smoothie slushy Disney American
Exactly what
style.
I'm talking about.
I'm not over exaggerating. This man will put down 7 slushies in one day, and that's not over exaggerating.
It was like 3 in an hour.
Literally. So yeah, the drinks of Africa are super underrated, super great. Like one of the best theme park lands in the world for drinks. So that's our goods. We'll get a little bit negative now. Marcus, why don't you lead us off on your bad?
Yeah, kind of going off of that. I don't mean to damper that, but I think that my bad is limited food options.
Yeah,
you do. I mean, you have Tusker House, right? But like, there might be some snack carts around. There's not like a really great quick service, and I think for me that brings the land down just a little bit. If there was just like an excellent quick service there, that would just make it like I would spend all day there.
Yeah, it's tough because Animal Kingdom has so many great quick services that it's isn't the Harambe Market part of Africa or not?
I believe so.
That's I mean that's solid quick service. It's not incredible.
Well, Harambe Theater is not what I was expecting.
I think yes, it is in Africa. I think I don't know. For me, it's just like nothing really stands out as far as food there. You have the character meal at Tusker House. And I've been there for breakfast a couple times, but it's very expensive. I think, it would be better if there was something that stood out there. I mean, because, when you compare it to lands like Pandora or, something like Yak and Yeti or like I was saying, like in Pandora, Satuli Canteen. I mean, Satuli Canteen is probably the best quick service on property.
So good.
But it feels like there's something lacking there. So.
No, agreed. And Tusker House, I don't want to hate on Tusker House because I really do like the theming in there, and I'm glad that it exists. But it's not an accessible option for 90% of people. I mean, my wife and I are big fans of like expensive meals at Disney, and even Tusker House was like a little bit too out of our price range in terms of what you're getting. So, I mean, it's a solid option, but yeah, it's not incredible. So I'm with you, Marcus. That's one thing they're not great at. All right, Kareek, what's your bad?
My bad is there's I guess going back to is not enough rides, and I think a great Lion King dark ride would fit in there. And I'm like, it's such a missed opportunity because Lion King is such a beloved, like Disney's most beloved movie, and it's like you're not even incorporating it in a bit. I mean, yes, you have the show, Lion King show, great, but I want to ride
teaser.
It work. So that's just my. Yep. It needs another ride apart from the safari. So
festival or a Lion King dark ride would check like 50 boxes. Another ride in a land that needs it. A dark ride in a park that needs dark rides more than anything. Finally, a Lion King dark ride in any Disney park. And I don't know the layout super well in terms of backstage, but I do feel like there might be room for a smaller one because I know behind Harambe Market they have their Club 33. I don't remember what it's called, but they have like their club. And then there's like a whole lot of like backstage space. So maybe I'm wrong, but I feel like they have room for that. So that would be an amazing addition. They definitely need one more dark ride. My bad is just I don't think Africa handles crowds super well. I feel like especially the area like the line for Kilimanjaro safaris and like the line in front of I think it's Dawa Bar, just it gets clogged pretty often. Like at the end of the day and in the morning, it's pretty empty area, but I'm not a big fan of how it handles crowds. So that's like my biggest probably negative or con to Africa for me. Too much negative because this is a near perfect land. Marcus, start us off with your great.
My tumble monkeys are back. Festival of the Lion King and the entertainment, like Kareek was saying, you cannot go to that show and not feel like a better human being. Right. And I think that's the whole like draw of Animal Kingdom as a whole park. You leave and you want to do something, right? You feel like you have a responsibility, right? And I think that Festival of the Lion King is such a great embodiment of that. And you just leave hype, Like I said, my tumble monkeys, they're back. The guy with the fire, I don't know, whenever Be Prepared is being sung, like I'm like, oh my gosh. It is like it's happening around me. Like it's great. So yeah, that's Marcus, my great.
I know the real reason why Festival of the Lion King is your great, and that's because that is the show where we actually first met in person.
That's true. That is true.
In person for the first time inside the show building for Festival of the Lion King. So that's really why it's great.
That's true.
That's actually fairly ironic, like full circle, that like the first time having you on the pod and like we're talking about Africa and like your great is that, and that's crazy. Anyways, too much irony and lovey-dovey for me. Kareek, what's your great?
First of all, it's never too lovey-dovey. Marcus, I freaking love you.
Sean,
I freaking love you. I love you guys. Like, holy crap, I freaking love you. Anywho, my great is the ambiance of Africa, and I feel like I say this all the time, but every time I go to Animal Kingdom, I feel like I'm there. Like, you have Africa in the middle of Florida. Like, you can't find that at any theme park around Florida or anywhere, really. Yeah. You know, it's immersion. That's what, whenever I talk about Animal Kingdom, I always talk about immersion because that's exactly what they want to do. They want to make you feel like you're in the middle of this safari and you're in the middle of friggin' Africa with that heat, especially. You're like, you're there. You're in Africa. So with that, you have the music and then you have the little shops with the little like dolls that they make and stuff like that. And I'm just like, this is so friggin' cool. If it would be even better if they could expand on it a little more, do a little more with it, but it's still fine and I love it. Like the greenery, the scenery, the way that the buildings look, the little Mickey on the I forget what they called it.
The Beach Fellow.
Yeah, the cacao one.
Right by Harambe Market.
The eroded building that it's just everything is so detailed. Oh man, Africa is it looks so cool. It looks so cool. Yeah. And that's how I imagine Africa would look if I went to Africa.
I'm getting hyped just talking about this. Yeah, I do know that Busch Gardens Tampa has an Africa section. It's nowhere near as good as Disney's, like not even close. And it's a solid, theme section. So it shows how good Disney's doing it. I also want to say, I think it's the first time in all 9 of the podcasts I've done that no one has had the same answer at one point or another. We all have different answers. So that's great because it just gets me more hyped on, Africa as the land. But my great is just the layout and the like detail in terms of like walking around. And I'm a huge sucker for exploration in theme parks. It's why I'm not a huge fan of Magic Kingdom, because I feel like Magic Kingdom lacks areas to just walk around and kind of get lost in. And even just, even if it's just like a dumb little like walkthrough, like that just adds a lot to the land. And Africa has this in spades. I actually literally had to write them down, and I usually don't write things down for this podcast because I forgot how many areas. Obviously, you have Girl Falls Exploration, which is one of the best, walking trails in any Disney park. You have the whole Harambe waterfront, which is like a beautiful area. You have the Safari Trek, which I know this is a paid experience, but I'm pretty sure it's not that expensive. It's like $100, $200 a person, where you get to walk over that bridge on the freaking Kilimanjaro safaris, which like, bro, how cool is that? There's like a paid experience where you can walk on like a bridge on an experience. Like I haven't done it yet, but like that's just so cool to me that exists. You have the entire boardwalk area that like leads over to Pandora. And I don't know like where Pandora ends and where Africa starts, but it just feels like you're getting lost over there. Like it's just crazy how much there is to explore. And then obviously you have Rafiki's, and Kareek, Marcus and I were talking before the podcast, like does Rafiki's count as Africa or not? And I don't think it does, but on the Disney website, it has it listed under there. So whether it is or not, like that's just another great area to explore. Like when you leave the Gorilla Falls, walk around, the Rafiki area, great queue. So just so much to explore, man. Like this whole conversation has me wanting to go back to Africa so bad. Yeah. I feel like it's so underrated. Even what Marcus was saying earlier about how it's not really like a defined land, like that just makes exploring it 1,000 times more cool. So
yeah, so I have talked about this many times with the people close to me, with Sam, my girlfriend, and everything like that. Like there is a big difference in theme parks between getting lost and not knowing where you are, right? I want to get lost in a theme park. There is no time in a theme park where I don't want to know where I am, right? In Magic Kingdom, you always have something to orient you. And Animal Kingdom, if you know the layout of the park, you always have something to orient you, right? But you can still get lost in the trails. You can still get lost exploring in the land. You can still look for all these details. And I think that is what that's what sets Disney parks apart, right? Is you can get lost and you can, explore your own curiosity. And I think that is like, that's so special. And it's really, really difficult to do. And I think Disney does it excellently.
Absolutely. To this day, Animal Kingdom is the only park where there are times where I'm like, wait, which way do we go? Like, how do we get to Everest the quickest? Or like, how should we go to Pandora like the quickest? Like, it's the only park where that happens. Magic Kingdom, Hollywood Studios, like DCA, you will never be confused about the quickest way to get somewhere. But
That's
Animal Kingdom, like that's a great point, Marcus. All right, I feel like we could talk half hour about Africa. Like I'm getting hyped talking about it, so we got to cut it off. Let us know down in the comments, guys, what your favorite parts of Africa are. Get me more hyped on this land. I cannot wait to go back to Animal Kingdom. But all right, that brings us into our topic number 3. Topic number 3 is our ranking topic, our top 5. And for those that don't know, I don't even know, Marcus, you're okay with me sharing this, but whatever, I'm gonna share it. Marcus is a CM, and he's a lifeguard for Disney. He currently works at Contemporary, so if you guys are staying there, go look out for him. He'll be shirtless at the pool, trying to save your life over there. So you guys can go find him there. But with that being said, that leads us into a very fun topic that I've been wanting to talk about for a while. And someone on Twitter, at Carter Sauce, Sam Carter, who is a fantastic follower, make sure you guys follow him on Twitter, did bring this up recently as well, or one of the best pools on property. So our top 5 is going to be the best Disney or Universal pools. This can be either coast. Obviously, Universal has no hotels in California. So Disneyland Resort or Universal Orlando or Walt Disney World, the best theme park pools on property. We'll each share our 5, then our 4. We'll just go in circles. So Marcus, the guest of honor as the lifeguard here, why don't you get us started? Your 5th best theme park pool.
Yeah. Also, just like a clarification, I've never been to a Universal pool, and I've never been to a pool at Disneyland. So these are only going to be Walt Disney World resorts.
To be fair, I would say 90% of the best pools are at Walt Disney World. So
that is very true. That's very true.
Yeah, and a caveat too, like, Marcus and Creek and I are young guys. Like we're not in our 50s that have traveled, and hit every single pool at Disney World. Like I've only been to half the resorts. I feel like Creek, you might even be a little bit less than half the resorts on property. So, our list is not all encompassing of like every pool on property. It's just the pools that we have visited in person. So.
Yeah. But anyways, for my number 5, I have the Grand Floridian Courtyard pool and the beach pool there. The beach pool is a little small, but the slide is incredible. And the Courtyard pool, there's no guards there. It's super quiet, super like low key. It is, I think, one of the most relaxing pools that I've been to on property. There isn't much going on there, and that's what makes it great, right?
Yeah.
You have a beautiful view of, the Grand Floridian, right? What better of a view can you get? And so for me, my number 5 is the Grand Floridian Courtyard pool and the beach pool.
The beach pool, is that the one that's between the DVC building and the regular building?
Yeah.
Okay.
Sorry,
yeah,
that's like what the guards call that pool.
No, you're good. That's a great little pool. I actually think I like that pool better than the other one because I've only been to Grand Floridian once. I only stayed there once. But the other pool, like, I love how quiet it is, but it felt weird for like such a huge pool to be so quiet. Like, I don't know, it felt kind of eerie to me. But they're both solid pools. I'm not hating. They're fantastic pools. All right, Creek, number 5 for you, sir.
My number 5 is going to be Pop Century's pool. It's a cool pool. Yeah, it's a pool. It does its job.
No, I agree. In terms of value hotel pools go, it's got to be probably up there. I really like All-Star Movies pool with the
I agree.
Arthur Mickey, but Pop Century pool is right up there with it too. So,
I'll save that for later. But the reason why, like, you'll see my list, you'll be pretty surprised. But yeah, I'm putting Pop Century's pool at number 5. So
fair. It's a solid value pool for sure. All right, my number 5, the only pool I've experienced at Disneyland, the Disneyland pool. It is called the e-ticket pool. Karik and I recently stayed this year at Paradise Pier, and their pool is down for a super long refurbishment. So I've never stayed at Disneyland pool. I've also never stayed at Grand Californian. I've been by their pool to like hang out, but I've not stayed there, so I felt like cheating adding that pool. So I didn't add it because I've never stayed there and experienced it. But when at Paradise Pier, they freaking golf carted us over to the Disneyland pool because their pool was closed. So that was a huge upgrade. And I just love that pool. Like, we went there as much as we can. My favorite part about it is just how tropical it feels. Like, when I'm at a pool, kind of like what Mark was saying about Africa, I want to feel like I'm somewhere else, like I'm lost in, like, and Disneyland pool does a great job of that. You have the great restaurants around the pool, really good hot tubs scattered there, 2 really iconic slides, although they're not super fun slides themselves, but they're really iconic looking. So Disneyland pool, fantastic pool. That's my number 5.
Cool. So it's my number 4 now?
Yes, sir.
So my number 4 is the pool at Jumbo House. I don't know what it's called. I just know that it is ginormous.
Yes. I think it's the biggest pool on property, isn't it?
It is. Yeah, it is. And there's animal viewing areas.
That's dope.
I think that in and of itself, like, makes it top 5, right?
Absolutely.
Because you can have that nowhere else on property besides that Animal Kingdom Lodge. And so, yeah, for me, that's my number 4. It's excellent. The theming of that whole resort is incredible. And
that was my number 6.
Right,
it was my first one off the list, Marcus. I'm glad you had it on your list so we can talk about it. The fact that you can freaking sit in a hot tub and like look at the flamingos. If I'm being selfish, I do wish there were a little bit more animal viewing areas, but I'm nitpicking at this point. Like, it's a great pool. But the fact you can sit in the hot tub and like listen to that music and like watch the flamingos, unbeatable, man. Unbeatable. Really great. All right, Creek.
My number 4 is the contemporary pool, but the contemporary pool at Bay Lake Tower.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
I love that pool.
Yes.
I love ambiance being there, especially being there at night. And then when you get into the hot tub, you watch the water pageant, the electrical water pageant roll through. I thought that was like one of my best nights at it. Just being there, and it was so freaking nice. Like, that was my first time at a deluxe like pool, so I was like, wow, this is great.
We had a great night that night. Creek and I were just supposed to chill that day. We surprised went to Epcot like on a whim, rode Cosmic, and then went to Disney Springs at like 6 p.m. for dinner. And then after Disney Springs, went back to our room for fireworks. And then after that, we're like, nah, we're still awake. And so we went to the pool, the DVC pool. And like Kareem said, you can sit in that hot tub and watch the freaking electric water pageant. Like, I'm rethinking my list because I don't know why I didn't have that pool on my list. I guess the only conduit is like during the day, it's not super fun because they don't have like music they do have one little like food bar there, but it's not the best. But at night, that might be one of the best nighttime pools. Also, Marcus, you're not at that pool, right? You're at the main pool?
I'm at all of the monorail beam resorts. So whenever I'm scheduled at Contemporary, I work at Contemporary and Bay Lake Tower. That's where I've been for the past like 3 weeks.
So even more bonus points then.
Yeah, so that's how our rotation works. We work at Contemporary, then we hop over to BLT and hit it up over there. So I'm there every day. I was there earlier today. It's super nice, dude. Especially early in the morning, right when we open. There's maybe 2 families in the pool.
Oh.
The sun is out. You can soak it up, and the zero entry is really great as well.
All right, I changed my list. I'm adding the Bay Lake Tower pool to my list. No, that's a great answer. The reason why I didn't have it on my list is just because, like I said earlier, like during the day it feels a little like not boring. It's the wrong word, but no. Hearing you guys talk and the fact that Marcus freaking works there, gotta be top 5 for sure. But my actual number 4 is the Lagoon Pool. This is the pool at Lowe's Royal Pacific Resort at Universal Orlando. Just like I said for the 5th pool, the Disneyland pool, this pool just makes you feel like you're somewhere else. Like, it's super tropical. Like, you can't even really see anything else when you're there. So I'm not in love with Royal Pacific. Like, it has some cons that I don't love, but their pool is not one of them. Fantastic pool in every way. Top 3, Marcus, get us started.
My number 3 is the Riviera, the pool at the Riviera. They have, a guarded pool and a leisure pool, and an incredible splash pad with the Fantasia characters. It's amazing. You're overlooking the water. You can see the Skyliner. And I don't know if this like counts as the pool area, but Bar Riva is like a hop, skip, and a jump away. So I think that only adds to everything. I love the Riviera. It's one of my favorite places to stay on property. Have such great memories there. And so, that's my number 3 is the pools at the Riviera.
I feel like God is watching over this podcast. Kareek and I were just on the phone earlier today talking about how the next time we go to Disney World, we want to stay at Riviera because neither of us have stayed there. Here you bring it up, and then Kareek talks about Bay Lake Tower Pool, and you were just working there this morning. Bro, this is way too ironic. And then you were talking about Festival of the Lion King, and that's where we met. This is crazy, man. It's like Inception right now.
It's
Kareek and I were just talking about wanting to stay there, so I'm glad to hear you talk about it, Marcus.
Yeah, for sure.
Oh, my number 3. I'm going to say I had it. I'm sorry. OQ
West. Yes.
OQ West pool. Yeah. The layout is really cool. It looks like the slide areas, like a sand castle, and it just feels so beach like. I like a beach town house. Like it's just so cool. I love the area over there. It's really nice. I didn't get to go in, which sucked because I was leaving that day, but I did hang around the pool area before I left, and I just like the ambiance of it all. I wish it was a little bit more shaded, but other than that, it was such a really beautiful pool, and I wish I stayed there longer so I can, get to have the use of the pool a little bit longer. But it was really nice. I really loved it.
Yeah, we only got one night at Old Key West, which sucks because Jess and I got time at the pool. You were busy at Springs, or I don't know what you were doing. You were running around somewhere, but yeah, their pool there is fantastic. I feel like we all have different entries on this list, so that's amazing. Because again, Old Key West, I didn't have it on my list, but now I'm rethinking it. But the vibe there is probably the best vibe, like just like undescribed feeling out of any theme park pool in the world. And they have a themed sauna, and I've never seen that before in my life. So bonus points for that. All right, my number 3 is the Dig Site pool. This is the main pool at Coronado Springs. Freaking love this pool, man. Like, just like I said, vibe at Old Key West, like the vibe here, just so relaxing. Like, just feels like you're on vacation. You're like, it's amazing, really great pool. The only con to it is it's a pretty far walk if you're staying at the Grand Casino Tower. So I don't love that aspect of it, but it's just a great pool, and it's not always super slammed because there's so many other like little pools around the area, like around the resort, and it's a far walk for people. So really, really great pool, and I love the aesthetic they have at that pool. So Dig Site pool is my number 3.
Yeah, that's a great one. That's a great twist. The giant pyramid there.
Yes.
It's incredible.
Yes.
My number 2 is the Polynesian pool. I mean, the lava pool is it's the Polynesian. Like, how can you not put it top 5? I'll be honest, it was a little underwhelming when I stayed there. And now, like, being able to like work there and see like the operational side of things, it is like, it's incredible how everything works.
Yeah.
You can see the fireworks from the pool.
Yep.
The gnarliest slide at a resort, probably besides number 1. Like, it's the Polynesian, that's all you need to say. That the vibe, the atmosphere, the ambiance, everything there, it's incredible.
100% agreed. Yep.
My number 2 is actually going to be Wilderness Lodge pool and the main pool. I actually didn't do the DVC pool. I stayed at the main. When I tell you just the setup of it all, and then just like the beauty. Oh my gosh, I'm just thinking about it. I love Wilderness Lodge so much. And the pool could have been a little bigger, but honestly, I didn't really care. But because overlooking the pool is really what mattered to me, to be honest. Just the way they had it set up, with the boulders, and then the little water. It was supposed to be a waterfall, but I don't think it was on. But even so, like, just the ambiance was freaking amazing. It was on point. Everything was themed really well to what it was supposed to be, wilderness. I thought it was just really amazing. I love that.
Yeah. Aesthetically, I think that pool has to be number 1, if not number 2, in all of Walt Disney World. Like, aesthetically, with the rock work, like you said, Karik, and the water fountain coming down and the freaking geysers, like, aesthetically, I don't think there's any debate. It's top 2, maybe number 1. But the actual pool itself is underwhelming to me. Like you said, Karik, it's super small. The hot tub setup is so weird. You have to like walk around and go through the like kids area. It's so strange. And like the fencing is really weird with the boardwalk. So practically, I don't love the pool itself, but aesthetically it's perfect in every way. So great point. My number 2 is, just like Marcus said, lava pool. I'm not going to say much. I echo everything Marcus said. Ironically, I've been very positive this video. I will be slightly negative towards the lava pool in that it makes me sad that we don't have a swim up bar at Walt Disney World. I get it. It's a kids family theme park, but
that'd be dope.
After going to Mexico a couple times and staying at some resorts there, like, there's nothing doper than a swim up bar. Like, and the Polynesian pool makes me feel like we could have it because of the waterfall and everything. And like, then the actual bar being like right in the rock work. Like, I know I'm nitpicking and sounding dumb, and like, I'm not actually complaining, but it makes me sad that we don't have a swim up bar on property. That's the only con I have to lava pool. The freaking infinity hot tub overlooking the castle. Whew, bro, you cannot get any better than an infinity hot tub overlooking the castle. Lava pool is number 2.
Definitely. Before my number 1, I have an honorable mention. Art of Animation.
Yes.
It's there's so many options, whatever you want. I mean, they are far away. They're far apart from each other, but
Yeah.
that's kind of like what you pay for at Art of Animation, and the pools themselves are so incredibly well themed.
For sure.
So yeah, that's just a little honorable mention.
A quick shout out too on that topic. Quick shout out to the three caballeros at the All Star Music.
Yes.
True.
Yes.
No, All-Star
my
Music.
number.
All-Star. I don't remember.
I think it's All Star.
Cool.
I think I don't know. It's one of the All Stars. They're all the same. But my number one, like you guys will probably be, is Stormalong Bay at Beach and Yacht Club. It's a literal water park. Like, it is. It's a mini water park. I mean, that's what the lifeguards are told. I am not qualified to lifeguard there because I'm not a deep water lifeguard. You have to go through special training. The sand bottom. You can kind of see Epcot fireworks. That slide, just everything about it. I remember so many times when I was a kid, we would stay at the boardwalk and I would walk and we would be like walking around that water there. And I would look at my parents and be like, I want to go on the pirate ship slide. I need it. Like, I need it in my life. And they were like, sorry, we can't. We're not allowed. They will find your family. They'll find where you live if you go in that pool and you're not staying at Beach and Yacht Club. not
they are still pretty like not secretive. They're pretty secure with it still to this day.
Yeah, they're super strict about it. But yeah, it's incredible. I mean, the fact that is an amenity of staying at Beach and Yacht Club is kind of unmatched. I mean, like I said, it's a mini water park. So that's my number one, is Stormalong Bay at Beach and Yacht Club.
Yep.
My number one is Marcus's honorable mention. Art of Animation. I absolutely love that pool, and I know that there are thousands of, not thousands, 50s of other pools that that you could relate to, but the fact that you have it's at the Nemo, Finding Nemo area. It is one of the biggest pools at the what is it called? The Value Resorts.
Yeah.
They play music underwater. The scenery around it is just so cool, and I don't know. It's just the ambiance of it all. It goes back to, I've been saying this whole, but it's just the feel of being there. And I think I went last February, and I went with my cousins, and mind you, like, they're the only ones in the pool, and it was just like, so like, you can hear the water going. I mean, the music underwater, the movie playing in the back. It was just like, it was so perfect to me, and I just loved it so much. So I'll always have that like as my number one. That's where me and my friends stayed our first time being at Disney World, and we went to the pool, and it was just like, wow, dude, like, we're actually here, and this pool is so cool, and there's the splash pad with Nemo and his friends over there. It's really cool. Themed really well.
Karik, I'm shocked you didn't say Disneyland pool.
Huh?
I'm shocked you didn't have Disneyland pool.
You know what's funny is before we did this, I didn't know we were adding Disneyland, so I didn't add that in. So
fair enough.
If I were to add that in, that would probably be my number 3. But,
fair enough. Okay, there you go. For those keeping track at home, Karik's true number 3 is Disneyland pool. So you take Pop Century off of it. Yeah. I'm gonna give a quick honorable mention too, just like Marcus said. For those with kids, if you have kids, I don't. None of us 3 do here, but if you do, the Kidani pool splash pad, fantastic. I don't love the pool. The pool is fine itself, but the best splash pad on property. So make sure if you have kids, check that out. But my number 1, just like Marcus, Stormalong Bay. This is a classic example of don't be too cool for school and say that it's not your number 1. If you've stayed at Beach and Yacht Club, Creek, I know you haven't yet. We'll stay there, next time. But if you've stayed there, like, don't be contrarian. This is the number 1 pool on property. This is the number 1. My wife and I, for those that don't know, we are hotel super fans, and we actually run an account staying at hotels. We've stayed at over 60 hotels just since COVID. Nothing will ever come close, and nothing has come close to Stormalong Bay. The best pool in the world, best pool at Disney World easily. Everything Marcus said, plus the adult hot tubs, which is always a bonus to have an adult hot tub, and the lazy river right in the middle, and the fact that they're always doing activities, could go on for hours. Stormalong Bay, easily number 1. All right, viewers, let us know down in the comments what your 2 through 5 are, because if your number 1 is not Stormalong Bay, all I'm going to know is that means you haven't stayed there, because if you have stayed there, it has to be number one. But yeah, let us know down in your comments what are your 5 best pools. Obviously, Marcus, Creek, and I have not stayed at a crap ton of hotels. So if you've stayed somewhere that has a great pool that you love, make sure you leave it down in the comments. With that being said, we will hop down to our 4th topic. That is our get to know you topic for our special guest of honor, Marcus. So Marcus, the floor is yours here. Just share us, what got you into theme parks, where your theme park fandom has taken you now as an adult in your 20s, and where you hope it takes you in the future. Also, please make sure you give a shout out to your girlfriend, because I know that plays into your theme park story. So the floor is yours.
Sure. It was coming. It was coming. We all knew it was coming. So yeah, I guess starting out, I grew up. We would come to Disney probably 3-4 times a year. I grew up in Louisiana, like I said, and my parents are DVC members. And so we would just come as a whole family with my mom's entire side of the family. And my favorite memories of my family, like ever, are all at Disney. And like, I'm kind of getting emotional thinking about it, but it is so like important to me that is how I was able to connect with my family. I'm the oldest of 6 kids. And so like, it was really difficult for me to like kind of find my place in that sort of family dynamic. And so that was like, that's how it started. And then I just got hooked, bro. I got hooked, and my I started watching the movies, and every time we would come to Disney, I would tell my parents, I was like, all right, I'm gonna work at Disney. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it as soon as I graduate. And then now I'm here. I graduated school and I'm working at Disney now. But kind of rewind a little bit. When I was in college, I kind of got started on Twitter. I still don't like have like too many followers, but I don't really care about that stuff. What I do care about is the community that's there. I've met, you 2 guys. I've met some of my best friends through that. I've met, the love of my life through that. Like that is
I love you too, Mark.
It's so important.
It was great meeting you.
My girlfriend Sam, Country Bear Sam, give her a follow. She's the best. Like it's really impossible to kind of understate how important this community has been with like me growing as a person. And like Sean was saying, I am now working for Disney, right? And so that's kind of, like I said, like I would always tell my parents, hey, I'm going to work at Disney. And like I said, like now I'm here, right? And I've met the love of my life. And it's like going forward, that's kind of what I hope to do, is like be able to share that love with my family. Like it is so special to me that I'm able to share like this passion with somebody that I cares so deeply about. And my friends and everything like that. The fact that we all share this one kind of unifying passion is something that is so cool. It'll always give you something to talk about. Yeah, that's kind of like disorganized. My brain is like, I'm still like really nervous to be on the podcast. So I'm like kind of shaking right now. But going forward, like I was saying earlier, I just graduated college. I have my degree in biology, and so I like want to go into conservation research. Working with Animal Kingdom would be so sick, and just like utilizing Disney's resources to make the world a better place. I think Disney has such a big responsibility to do so, because they do have their hands in everything. And I think that if I can be a part of that, I would say that's been a fulfilling life. So yeah, that's me. I'm a Disney freak like Sean. I am a numbers guy. So I literally have Excel sheets of like, I've given scores to like every single attraction that I've ever been on, like 5 categories, give it a score 1 to 10. Let's like average them all out. Let's see what's the best, rank everything. Like I'm a nerd. Yeah, I'm a Disney nerd. And so that's kind of my fandom. And going forward, yeah, I mean, if I don't make it to all of the Disney parks around the world before I die, then I died too early. So
Marcus, you need to create an account called like Ranking the Magic or something like that, and just
for sure.
everything
No, that would be
related.
sick. Definitely.
Not a bad
It's
idea.
almost like I think that's a very untapped market, untapped niche there. I don't think
No,
there's
I
anything else
agree.
like
And maybe you and I are just biased because I'm starting to realize like not everyone thinks like us, but for the analytical fans out there, like the untapped market of like ranking Disney and like theme parks is so like huge because it's, I mean, maybe you and I are just, talking to each other and no one else cares what we're saying, but like the analytical
that's
side of
fine with
Disney
me.
is so untapped. Like I love the analytical side of Disney. It's so cool to me.
Yeah.
There's a lot of untapped potential which you guys don't really know about, or which I feel like you guys don't know, but people love rankings on TikTok. They love putting things into order. And I come across those videos a lot, and because people are curious as to see where you put things or where you rank things. So I think you guys should put your talents into TikTok, because I'm telling you right now, people eat that stuff up. Like, and I know I'm one of them, because I'm just like, you put that at number 4? What? And that's the worst. What are you doing?
Well, Marcus,
get the
you're
hate
younger
comments.
than me, so maybe you and I can have a little partnership here, and we can collab on TikTok. Because I'm so YouTube and Twitter already, like Disney YouTube and Disney Twitter are already consume like 90% of my time, and I'm old, like I'm almost 30. I don't know TikTok or have time for it. So Marcus, you and I can do.
I know nothing about TikTok. I've never had TikTok. I had it once for like a day, and then I deleted it because I was like, I was just a bunch of people doing magic tricks, and I was like, what is this? And so I deleted it. This was like my sophomore year of college.
My man, there are many sides of TikTok, and the fact that you're a magic TikTok, that's
this man found magic TikTok
within an hour.
I love it. Well, Marcus, thank you so much for sharing your story, man. Obviously, I don't have to tell you this, but you are one of my closest, friends in Disney, in the Disney community. So, just super happy, to hear your story. Super happy to hang out with you at the park. Super happy to, be friends. And so, everyone, make sure you give Marcus a follow on Twitter. If you have any questions about his story, just want to ask him questions, either leave them down in the comments or, shoot him a message on Twitter. With that being said, we will hop into our 5th topic. Marcus, you are now on the hot seat. If you weren't already on the hot seat before, now you really are on the hot seat.
Yeah.
So you don't have time to think. Well, I mean, take time to think, but you got to give us our answer right away. We need, in order from 3 to 1, your top 3 favorite theme park rides of all time. It does not have to be a Disney ride. Favorite theme park rides of all time, 3 through 1.
3 through 1.
It's supposed to be rapid.
Got it. Number 3, Karik's favorite ride in the entire world, Living with the Land.
Hey, let's go.
It is. Maybe it's just because I'm a science geek. I'm being for real. Like, this is 100% serious. Maybe it's because I'm a science geek and I'm probably forgetting something. But that's the first thing that popped in my head was Living with the Land.
Okay,
I don't know what that says about who I am, but
that says you're
I am
cool.
definitely a part. Yeah, heck yeah. I'm definitely part of the Living with the Land cult. It's probably the best ride at Epcot besides Guardians. I mean, Guardians is kind of in its own stratosphere. But I think, Karik, we're going on it when you come down. We have to. It's incredible. I'm a science geek. I want to work in that lab at some point. So yeah, that's my number 3. My number 2 is Flight of Passage. I cry every time you're on that ride and you're sitting in the cave and it's just still. And like you look around and you see the other people around you that have never ridden the ride, and they are like looking around like they are at Disney World. Oh my gosh, like they're at Disney World for the first time. And that is one of the most like emotionally moving theme park attractions like I've ever been on. Maybe it's because the movie means a lot to me as well, but I think that's my number 2. And number 1, it's the best ride on property. Maybe not the best ride on property, but my favorite ride on property is the Hollywood Tower Hotel, Tower of Terror. It's like, I really don't know how to describe it. It feels like you were in another world. When I was a kid, I was so terrified to ride it. And when I finally rode it, I was like, I'm a man now. All right, let me what's next? What's next?
That's
Like,
what
can I be
makes
the
me
president now or
Absolutely.
something? Like, and so
President Marcus.
I don't remember how old I was when I wrote it for the first time, but I remember thinking that after. I was like, okay, like I got this now. And like I said, the theming, it's incredible. I do wish that the bellhops were like a little, like the cast members were a little bit more in character.
Yeah, it's hit or miss.
Like they were,
sure, hit or
that they were a
miss.
little more like 20s themed, because like that's the whole story is like it was just taken out of the 20s and just plopped there, and it's just like this place out of time. It's not like supposed to be like this haunted place, you know, but it is to us. And so Tower of Terror, my favorite ride on Walt Disney World property.
It's amazing. And I
I'm
will
like-
say for your number
Go ahead.
two, we're really, this is the fourth time this happened in this podcast. I'm pretty sure that's the first ride you and I rode together, is it not?
It was, yeah. I mean, unless you count like Festival of Lion King, it's not really a ride.
Yeah,
And we
more of
didn't
a-
even do that together. I sat by
Yeah,
Creek.
yeah.
Y'all sat all the way across the
Yeah.
thing. So, but yeah, that was the first ride that we rode. Yeah.
Solid list. You got a traditional small scale, you know, B or C ticket dark ride, and then you have, you know, the next gen cutting edge, you know, simulator ride, and then you have more like middle of the road, not middle of the road, but like
It's a classic.
you know, early
It's a classic.
2000s, late 90s creation in the Tower of Terror. So
Yeah.
you kind of got all eras covered here in your top
Definitely.
three. It's impressive.
Definitely.
Okay.
Literally. Yeah.
Lastly, we need the one ride you have never been on at any park. It either, you know, can be a ride that hasn't opened yet or a ride that's been open for a while you've never ridden that you want to go on the most.
I'm gonna say two things. The first one, because I think this is just like a thought, like I think it was a fever dream that this was ever even announced. But the Quinjet ride at Avengers Campus, I don't know if that was like, if they were just kidding when they announced that. They're like, it's coming, but like we have nothing. So that I'm gonna mention that, but I think we were all just like collectively dreaming about that one. But for real, I think the one attraction is Journey to the Center of the Earth at Tokyo Disneysea. I
Nice.
need to see that animatronic, bro. I need
Nice.
to. I've heard it's incredible, and I like fully expect it to be just like mind blowing. So I think Tokyo
Incredible.
Disneysea as a whole will be mind blowing, and I'm so
It's gonna
stoked
be crazy.
to experience it.
Greek, what are your thoughts on Marcus's hot seat answers?
I 100% agree with the Quinjet one, dude. That is not a fever dream. That's a reality that never came to fruition, and that's really annoying because I feel like they had a lot of potential with that one, and hopefully it's coming back. I've heard about Journey to the Center of the Earth, only because I was like deep diving 2 a.m. and I came across that, and I was like, oh, that seems cool. And then I heard there's they're doing an expansion of Disney's Tokyo Sea, which
Yeah.
I hear
Yeah,
Spring?
at
Right?
Tokyo Disneyland.
amazing, and then they're making it even
Fantasy
more
Spring.
amazing with like Peter Pan, Rapunzel, and then somebody else.
Yeah.
Their,
I think
their
it-
land
it's
or something
Frozen.
like that.
I think it is at Tokyo Disneysea,
Frozen.
isn't it, Marcus? Or is it Tokyo Disneyland?
I think it's at Tokyo Disneyland.
I thought it was at Disneysea because they
Oh,
already have. Maybe I'm
Maybe
wrong.
I'm
see.
tripping though.
I don't know.
maybe
Let's
I'm
Google it because I'm not actually
anywho,
sure.
It's called Fantasy Spring.
I agree with your choices. I would love to do those. I would just love, honestly, any ride that I haven't done over here that I just want to do over there. You know, I haven't.
Exactly, yeah. I
Haven't
just
been over
wanted to
there.
experience that. Hotel Hightower, the Haunted Mansion, or not the Haunted Mansion, the Tower of Terror.
I want to do
that they have
Phantom
over
Manor.
at Disney City. Phantom Manor, Mystic Manor.
Man.
That's where's Mystic Manor? Hong Kong? Yeah.
Yeah, Hong Kong. So Fantasy Springs is going into Tokyo Disneysea, but it's
Disney
going to be
Sea, yeah.
between the parks. So like they were going to have a third park called Disney Sky or something like that, Tokyo Sky.
Oh.
So it's a massive land. So it's basically going to be filling up a lot of that plot, but it is connected to Disney Sea, which is insane that the best, like unanimously, or not unanimous, but the consensus best theme park in the world is getting like the biggest expansion. Like, bro, Tokyo's wild out there, man. We got to get out there, boys.
That's the OLC money.
Yeah, exactly. OLC money. All right,
Literally.
King Dakal and Marcus, thank you both so much for joining me. It was an amazing time. like they said at the start of the show, make sure to follow King Ka. Just search King Ka. He's got like some 92s in there or something. But Twitter, Instagram, YouTube. Make sure you subscribe to him on YouTube and follow him on Twitter. And Marcus, make sure you follow him on Twitter. Just type Marcus into the search bar. If you're friends with Karik and I, his name will pop up. You know, we're all mutuals. So thank you both so much for joining me. It was a blast. And until next, viewers, let me know down in the comments what you thought about everything we talked about. D23 and Magicbands Plus. If you bought a Magicband Plus, please let me know what you thought. I would love to hear your comments. You know, our top 5 of what do we even do top 5 of? I don't even remember.
Pools.
Top 5 pools. Top 5 theme park pools. And good, bad, and great of Africa. Marcus's story, all that good stuff. Let us know what you thought down in the comments. Until next time, guys. Peace.